Welcome to the official Butthole Podcast, bringing you movies, video games, and randomness in between. Now bringing your hosts, Scott, the Great Brandino, Gage's Rage, and Star Lamar.
Gage
Alrighty.
can rip that sax, man.
Hell yeah, sexy sax man in the house. We got episode 153-ish.
4 maybe. We're not
Scott's
really sure.
not here, so we can't count. But we're doing the movie review. It's Get In. And it was supposed to be a scary one, right?
Suspenseful.
It's more of a thriller, yeah.
Yeah, I
If
would
you've
call
ever
it a
seen
thriller.
the movie Fear, starring Mark Wahlberg, it was like one of his first movies. Reese Witherspoon and the dude from CSI. It had the same feel as it, as far as suspense. It didn't really feel like a horror movie until the last half hour.
Yep.
Same with this movie. So it's not one that's going to scare you, just kind of unsettle you a little bit.
It really worked its way up to the climax at the last 20, 30 minutes of the movie.
Yep.
Supposedly based on a true story.
And it's French?
It's all in French.
A lot of au revoir, which
Merci.
means a lot.
Merci.
And a lot of subtitles.
A lot of subtitles. I had to read way too much. I got to take a break from those.
I was expecting an overdub of American voices.
I'm glad that it wasn't. You get to actually see the performance then.
I suppose.
If they dubbed, you're hearing someone else's words and voice.
As an
Now you
anime
gotta
fan,
see.
dubs are better.
But those aren't actors.
Voice actors matter. Goddamn, Star.
But this is just cartoons.
We're voice actors.
It's just cartoons.
Kind of. So it takes place in a place.
Somewhere in France.
Yeah, and this couple gets back after vacation maybe or something.
Yeah, they went camping
2 months.
for 2 months, and they had asked a family friend that was out on their... They were homeless.
Yeah.
They
It was
gave
their
them
nanny.
the
basically.
opportunity to come in and stay in their home. And the only, what would you say, condition they had was to pay the utility bills. So they signed some sort of contract saying that they can pay the utility bills while they're on their vacation. They come back home, and it's locked up, and they can't get in their own home.
And they said they're not giving it back.
Yes.
This is our now. It's my house.
Get
You
the
can
fuck
leave.
out.
They called the police on them. And somehow, I mean, they didn't really go into detail about the contract. Somehow it worked.
It was legally
They said, yeah,
binding.
they've been paying the utility bills. They're your tenants. They're renting the house from you, even though you're still paying the mortgage.
Yep.
You're still paying everything else. But you can't kick them out because there's tenant laws, and you have to go through the court system. So they were basically just poaching or whatever. What's it called when the people
Squatting.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they couldn't do anything about it. If
Totally
they showed
legal.
up to their own property, it was trespassing, basically.
So they still had to pay the taxes, the mortgage payments, and as long as those squatters who were their friends just kept up on the utility bills, it was their home.
Yep.
And they would have
move.
won in law or in court, but the judge didn't agree with them at first, so they had to take it to like the Court of Appeals in France or wherever the fuck. And that appeals process was going to take longer. It was going to run into the winter time when you cannot evict tenants.
Yeah,
So-
after November 9th or something, you can't evict them throughout the winter. If they
Now
have
it's
nowhere else
looking
to go.
like spring, and they're living in a trailer home. Well, RV.
Yeah, it was a campsite.
Campsite, bringing
So-
their RV that they had just took their vacation on. And it was the RV that actually the main character had grown up in. His dad had taken him in vacations.
And they ran into a friend? Is that what he was?
It was a classmate of the wife's,
Former acquaintance.
and he was living. It seemed like he was running it, but I
He
don't
was
think
the
they.
park manager,
Yeah,
I'd say.
I don't know if they ever officially said that, but he lived there.
Yep.
He had like a permanent home and a hot tub and all that going on. Creepy vibes.
Yes, right away. I was like, that guy's going to fuck his wife.
Yeah.
Turns out, he had already fucked his wife. They weren't just classmates. They had had a relationship previously.
We're going to circle back to that because I have a theory that everything that happens in this movie is the wife's fault. Because she simply could have just said, we shouldn't stay here. I used to fuck that guy. And the husband would have said, you're right, let's go somewhere else. And then everything that transpired afterwards would have never happened. So he works as a teacher
Yep.
Yes.
I
At
don't
the
know if it was high
university?
school or college.
I think it was college.
I think so too.
Yeah, and history teacher, and so they try to live a normal life and go back to school. They're still living out of the camper. They have one son. He goes back to school. They go back to work, and they're trying to live a normal life while they go through the court system. Everything starts going wrong. He starts getting called basically a pussy by people because he let this happen. How can you be a man and let this happen? If it's your house, go take your house.
And one of the students is saying if they feared you, you wouldn't need the law.
Exactly.
Yeah. No one would have stole from you in the first place if they were afraid that there's going to be repercussions. So because you're a bitch, the student didn't know about his situation at the time. They're talking about certain freedoms and rights and stuff like that.
What makes a law follow? Yeah. Law.
The student was like, you're not going to kick me out if I say this. He's like, no, I won't kick you out. Calls him a pussy. He's like, get out of my classroom. In French.
Yeah, so everything starts to go wrong. He starts to doubt himself. And we didn't mention that the guy who took the house, the husband of the nanny, he's a big dude.
In stature-wise.
Not a guy you want to fight.
Physically intimidating. When he'd come out, he'd say, leave. And the main character was not a big guy. Pretty sure his wife was a few inches taller than him.
Yes, she was. Do you know who that guy who squatted the house was?
Looks familiar, though.
He is in The Other Guys as Gator's ex-wife's new husband.
Really?
Yep, that's the guy that hooks up with Jessica Alba?
No.
Biel?
None of those.
Who is Gator's wife?
She's famous, but she's not.
It's not Jessica.
It's not one of those, no.
Fucking A. Well, we'll keep going. But the crazy guy who's like, you get in there and make love to my wife. That's the guy.
So they're back. They're living there, and this Mickey is the name of the guy at the RV home. Starts to kind of befriend the main guy, and I'm having a hard time even coming up with his name. Louis.
Yep.
Louis. So they kind of befriends him, and the wife's a little put back by it because she knows this guy's history and.
Is it Natalie Zia?
Might be.
No.
IMDb that shit.
Yeah, I'm on it.
You look it up. I don't know what I'm talking about.
And so he invites him out on a night on the town, and they go to some rave type thing where everyone's getting drunk, crazy group of friends, and he kind of likes it a little bit.
Eva Mendes.
But that's not.
That's
his current life.
Oh, sorry.
Now we're talking about the other guys too.
Double movie review. He likes the rave. He's out on the town. He's having a good time. They're like pounding beers, or looks like Bang Energy underneath this like submission tank.
Yeah, that was the second party.
Okay.
First party, he was just kind of a voyeur at, kind of watching everything, not really participating. Goes back to the wife. Wife says, "What happened?" He's like, "Oh, we went out," and she kind of knows. She goes, "Oh, where's there pretty girls there, or how were the girls?" He said they were pretty good there, and I don't know if this. No, not quite yet. Does this happen? Where you figure out that the wife actually did have an affair on him.
It wasn't there yet, I don't think.
It was pretty close. It was after that she went and visited and said, "Stay away from my husband."
Yeah,
that was
and
after like the second or third party. It was after they went out and they like slaughtered pigs.
It was all kind of like a montage.
There's a lot of weird stuff happening.
It was,
So she goes and says, "Stay away from my husband." He says, "Oh, did you not tell him we used to fuck?" That looks like they're gonna bang, and she knees him in the crotch and gets out of there, and they leave. They actually drive back to their house, drive through a fence into the backyard, and he kind of puts his foot down and he says, "I'm not leaving." And the other couple doesn't call the police on him or anything, which was surprising because the police made a comment saying you could go to jail for 3 years if you go back on your property, if they feel threatened. Mickey says you need to force your way back to this house. You need to make this happen.
He was a bad influence.
Super bad influence. So they go out to another party rave thing together, and this is after he had kind of broken it off with his wife and said, "This, like, I'm not the man you want. Like, I've tried to make it work after the affair." I'm pretty sure that was why they went on the vacation in the first place. So it was recent. That was kind of the save the marriage. Let's just go away for 2 months in camp and stay together. He leaves, goes to this rave thing, taking all these drugs, getting drunk, gets blown by a vampire in the bathroom, maybe banged her out, who knows. He comes out, and the same student that he was talking to earlier is getting the absolute hell beaten out of him by his new group of friends, Mickey and his friends. And this is where he finally is like, whoa, what's going on? Stop. And they're like, no, like, we're going to make him afraid of him. So it's kind of his own words eating him, coming back to hurt him, because he was talking shit to them. He got the hell beat out of him. He leaves and walks away. Mickey comes up and says, "What are you doing? Let's go get your house. Let's go get your house back." He says no. He gets punched by Mickey, calls his wife and says, "I'm going to contact the lawyer. I won't fight for the child." And then goes back to the camper where the wife comes and meets him, and they kind of rekindle.
Yep.
I was totally off about the squatter. Not the same guy from the other guys.
No.
Looks like him, though. Stature.
Oh, I thought you'd looked this up already.
I just did, yeah. Not it.
It's like, this is weird because he's
actually
French.
Yeah.
I think everyone in this movie is actually French.
Dude.
It's filmed in France.
I was going to say, that's
France.
quite impressive.
I'm fucking cultured. Did you hear how I said it?
Francais. It's, you got it.
Francais.
Like dirté.
Like fiancé. So then he goes back to his house. And
The camper is
backyard
in
of
the
his house.
backyard.
Yep. And Mickey and his group shows up, and they're lighting shit on fire. And then they pretty much tell him, like, this is my house now.
Yeah, they're rocking pig masks. They actually look kind of creepy.
Very.
They're on a lot of drugs, and they don't give a fuck about anything.
And after this friendship is destroyed is when shit's going to hit the fan.
So he runs out to the front yard. They're lighting everything on fire. They're fighting. He goes back inside. Big guy goes, "I'm going to handle this." In French. Merci, or something like that.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. He goes out, punches Mickey in the face. Mickey headbutts him, and then beats his fucking head in with a baseball bat. Basically kills him right then and there. They lock the doors. And then, what was the movie we watched that Scott picked? About the deaf girl?
Hush.
Hush. So in Hush, he sits outside and tries to get in through open doors and open windows. These badasses just break every fucking window and come right in.
They don't give a fuck.
They don't care. It wasn't like, oh, we have a locked door, we're safe from them. They said, no, we're going to come in.
They wanted to destroy the house.
Yeah. So they come in there. They originally go for the nanny and
her pregnant baby. Or her husband, boyfriend.
The husband got dragged in. They're beating the hell out of them. The Louis and his wife go to hide. She's already beaten, actually, isn't she?
Not too bad.
They were trying to back up, and then they ended up falling into like a sheet. Yeah, a tarp. They fell down. They got trapped in it, and then they got the shit beat out of them.
Because I thought she was like toast then.
I thought she was too.
So that's when Mickey goes and tries to rape her. And actually, I think you had found out previously that she was sexually assaulted, and that's why she was the way she was. And it was Mickey, I'm pretty sure, was that sexual assaulter in her previous relationship. So that's why she didn't want to bring it up with her husband now.
They also grabbed the nanny, put her in a vacuum seal bag, and then started sucking the air out and suffocating her in the bag.
It's after they had beaten the main character and his wife. They start sucking that bag. The main character, Louis, gets his wife into a safe place. And then he fights. He's going to be a fighter and stand up and be brave.
He gets his wife out of there.
Yep, gets her into a closet locked away. And while they're sucking the bags out, Mickey and Frank and his posse, they realize that they had got out. So they stop, like every classic bad guy, and they go and try and investigate, find the people. The other posse, the three dipshits in pig masks, move over to the guy and start sucking him up while the pregnant nanny is freaking out. And this is when Louis comes smashing through the fucking wall with the RV.
Hits them.
Totally takes them all out, but keeps everyone safe thankfully. Backs it up. Had enough energy to back up, but then the
Then
RV
dies.
after you get out of the house, which I still don't
But
understand.
it's a true story, so who are we to doubt what was happening?
And this smash couldn't have been perfectly more timed because Frank was just about to come across his wife in the closet. So he hears the crash, comes out, Mickey and Frank come out, and Mickey's like, take care of him. And he runs out front to finish this. So he's getting the gas can, he's pouring gas all over, and Louis concocts a plan, pulls the hose out on the gas stove.
No, that was second. First, he's hiding underneath the RV. Frank
Hits
comes
him with
up.
the
He gets him in the
machete.
Achilles with the machete, drops him, stabs him a bunch of time, kills him that way.
Then he booby traps the RV.
Gets back into the RV. So Mickey comes out and he's looking and he sees his dead friend next to it, and Louis sitting in there. So he goes after him. He made a Molotov cocktail and opened the gas. I don't know what it's for, heat or for cooking or something.
It was on the
in
stove,
there.
I believe.
Yeah. Opens that, sneaks out the top of it. Mickey gets in. He locks him in, throws the Molotov cocktail, blows the whole thing up. So the locked door must have got unlocked when it blew up.
Explosion.
Yeah, because an on-fire Mickey runs right out. Oh, and we missed this part. When he was trying to light the gas on fire,
The gas
gas
can
tank
falls into the pool.
fills the pool with gasoline. So if you're a man on fire, where are you going to run to?
pool.
The pool. Which I still... He jumps in, the whole thing goes up, they think they won. It's a horror movie, though, so the bad guy always comes back for one last scare. As we learned this in Scream.
And you see him in the background sneak away.
Yeah.
So you know, fuck, he is not
He's
dead.
coming back.
Yeah, he got out of the pool. Which I think, even if the top of the pool is on fire, it makes sense that
The bottom would
underneath,
still be
yeah, you can still get put
saved.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, well, that's not going to do anything. It's just going to make a cool explosion, but then he's going to be not on fire and get out. Gets back to them fighting. He's about to hurt Louis. Wife comes, hits him over the head. They kind of do the same thing back and back where he's going for one, the other one saves him. Eventually beats the hell out of him to the point of near death, and then the big twist happens. Mickey comes up to his ear and says, "This is your house now." So he's a good guy all along, right? Is that how you guys took that?
He was just trying to help.
He was just being the good guy. He was trying
bringing out his animal.
Yeah. He was saying, I'm getting you your house back. You're welcome.
You fought for it.
And
It's
then
yours.
everyone's like, he was the real hero this whole time.
And
We
then how
saw
does
him
it
as
end?
the bad guy. They have their house
Roll
back.
credits and a fuck scene.
Yeah. Well, it shows them putting the kid to bed. So I don't know if they're just like, oh, this mass murder happened here, but I guess it's your house again. Like, we're not going to investigate and see how any of this happened. But the boyfriend might have died. The girl, I think, lived, the nanny. So that could corroborate stories.
She still watches the kids.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and then they just end it with the bang scene.
Honestly,
Just an uncomfortable one, too.
if your wife isn't putting out on your birthday, get a new wife. Fucking A. That pissed me off more than I think anything in the movie.
The birthday.
It was his birthday and she didn't fucking put out. She's like, I'm not in the mood tonight.
She was off dancing with a friend.
I know, with his coworker. Like, bitch, no. That got you primed up and now we're gonna go rock socks, you know what I mean?
It was that time of the month.
If you have no problem watching
shark in
a
the
foreign film,
bloody
like we
waters.
said earlier, it is in French
A lot
with
of reading.
subtitles. But
Lot of
it's
reading.
like all basic stuff though.
Yeah, it wasn't
It makes you wonder what's lost in translation.
And you really didn't
Because
have to
there's no way
read.
that words were as simple as what was coming on the screen. It was
And
just
he
someone.
said, au revoir a lot.
In the best part of the movie, you didn't even have to read. You just kind of watch it.
Yeah, the action. And
Yeah.
wrestler. Yeah.
But the build-up, you had to get context. So, brings us into our movie ratings. Scott gives it a 4.2. Was it 4.2?
Oh, actually,
That's what Scott gave it.
there's a lot of boobies for 4.2.
Scott gave Hubie Halloween a 7.5. Stop trying to make sense of Scott's rankings.
I liked it more than that.
Where did he say that? Where's the rating? Oh, I said it earlier. Yeah, 4.2 out of 10.
Wow. I liked it more than that. Even though I had to read a lot, and even though he didn't get laid on his birthday, I still put it at like a 5.7.
I'm going even higher. I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it more than the one we watched last week. So I'm giving it a 6.5. There was several tits in it. Some of them are,
It's 4 to 6. There might be tits.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
I'm still going 6.5.
I gave it a 4.9.
Okay.
I wasn't a big fan of the whole French reading, all that jazz. That said, our total comes out to 5.33.
Okay.
Which is IMDb score. God, we are IMDb.
What?
They're
Between
5.6.
Oh, 5.6.
So we're within 3 points. Holy shit. Okay.
We are very good at what we do. Just so you know, almost every movie score that we've given has been
Half a grade.
right there.
Yeah, we're right there.
It has a 50% Rotten Tomato score and a 31% user. So I am in the minority in enjoying this film.
Yep.
But you're a film
I'm
a
cultured.
critic.
No, the
Culture.
critics only
Yeah,
gave
critics
it
gave it
50%.
30, yeah.
You are a bad movie reviewer. No.
I was into it. When
If
it
you
was
like
on.
it, you like it, and that's where the
Exactly.
5.3 comes from. I
Yep.
mean, Hubie Halloween would have been far more accurate if Scott didn't give it a fucking 7.5.
Yeah, that.
We just didn't get it.
I guess so. I
Um,
can see why people didn't like this. I mean, there wasn't a ton to this movie. And then it was dramatized for a true story. Like, yeah, that would be super shitty for it to happen. But they made it seem like everything was going wrong. It's like, no, you just got to weather the storm until you get these people out of your house. It's fucked up, but
That's
it's
life.
it's not a horror movie until you start hanging around with Mickey and his degenerate friends doing drugs and going to raves and
you
Slaughter
made bad
pigs.
life choices.
blown by vampires. He was just trying to be a man. He had already felt like less than a man because he stayed with his wife after she cheated on him. So this just added to that. He's just getting beaten down. So he thought, this guy is a man.
Couldn't even get beat off on his birthday. Dog,
Not
that
it.
sucks.
Yeah. And he killed a bunch of people because of it. Well, brings us into next week's movie
Oh,
review,
yeah. Who's up?
picked by Scott.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Here we go. We'll see if he
Hey,
watches it.
before, I would just want. Do you guys think Scott actually watched this, knowing he was not going to be here tonight?
What was his review of it? He just said 4.2 out of 10.
He gave a little smidgen.
I didn't care for it at all. 4.2 out of 10. I'm not a good reader either, though.
And I had mentioned that on Saturday. I was like, fuck you for picking a movie with that much reading. And there wasn't even really tough words to read.
It was very
Au
basic.
revoir.
Hello. Goodbye.
Bonjour.
Why did you do that?
Get down.
Because of this. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then why'd you do this? You
'Cause
can't
you
do that till November.
I don't
You
know
have
if
to
he
be a
did
man.
read it. Because then he would have been like averaging out the critic score with the audience score on IMDb, right? Or Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't think he
Yeah.
watches the movies in general, and knowing that he's not going to be here.
Why would he watch it?
Even less of a chance he watched it.
I know he hadn't watched it on Saturday.
I'd give it a coin flip. Coin flip toss that he watched it, and odds that it lands
He watched football
directly
all
in the
day
middle.
yesterday.
There's no way he watched it.
There's no way he watched it.
I watched it before football yesterday.
I did too.
I watched it today.
All right. What did Scott pick for the next movie?
Next movie Scott picked, As Above, So Below.
This one looks very scary. I'm not excited to watch
This is a
movie.
vampire movie?
It's a scary one.
I feel like I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
2014 is when it came out.
Netflix?
It's on Netflix. When a team of explorers venture into the catacombs that lie beneath the streets of Paris, they uncover the dark secret that lies within the city of the dead.
Is it in French?
Is this another fucking subtitle movie?
No, I'm sure it's not.
We're on a theme, though. We are on a theme.
We're in Europe.
Well, that wraps up this show
Go check out As Above, So Below.
on the Flicks.
Merci. Go jerk off.
Bye. Check out our website,
Au revoir.
www.officialbutthole.com, or on all socials at officialbutthole. Please leave us a rating and review on Apple Music, and we'll see you next time. Oh, it's another one of those. Paranormal Activity. That was really popular back then.
It's like first person. Oh, gotcha. Oh wow, that looks so much fun. What a terrible fucking pick. I'm like Matt. I don't like scary movies.